We are the best in the state, number one. And I can say that unequivocally. It's not because I have a false sense of my own ego and our organization, but the reality is there's one metric that means the most in our business, and it's how much money we make for our customers. So from a revenue per location standpoint, we are number one in the state. We are the best. I'm very, very proud of that. The beauty is I technically have nothing to do with it. It's my team. It's the people that you see here that actually make that happen. That's Jen, raise your hand. Caitlin, Cliff, this is our team. So take advantage, get into a conversation, let us know what questions you have, and I'll give you a little bit of a framework to kind of start that back and forth. This is a small enough audience where we should do that. And I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable with sharing your own questions with a potentially mixed audience, but it is a relatively small crowd. The state average per location sits at about $60,000. No one on my team yell at me because I'm rounding off the numbers. $60,000. So what that means is you put video gaming terminals in your location and you perform at an average level. That's about what you can expect. The average IGS location does $120,000 a year. That's our average. So we are twice the state. And that is, I mean, we have customers that do multiples of that number, and we're very proud of that performance. Some of the keys to this business that I'm sure everyone on my team would be really happy to talk about is figuring out how to bring this into your space in a manner that doesn't alienate your core customers. There is a magic to that. And there's also a sacrifice that you make as the restaurant or the bar owner. You're giving up space for this. And we take that very seriously because there's a risk there. We were talking about a little bit earlier, Sam and I got into the specifics of it, but one of the simplest ways to think about it is that gaming area needs to be treated like the most lucrative table in your restaurant. You've got to pay it mind, you've got to pay it attention, you've got to design it and accommodate it in a way that makes people feel comfortable to play. And in our business, the gaming revenue is built around establishing a core group of customers that come there on a regular basis. It's not the people that are there that throw a $20 bill in because they've got 2 minutes to burn. It's the people that frequent your establishment and are there on a regular basis. They're the ones that are going to line your pocket in this particular account. So you've got to know how to speak to them. You've got to know how to accommodate their desires. It's a little bit different for everybody, but where I think we excel is figuring out how to understand who you are, what your own identity is, and how to make gaming fit that paradigm versus dropping something into that equation that really stands out in an awkward way. And there's times where we're going to tell you it's not a good fit. That's part of what it means to be at the level that we are and to produce at the average level that we do. There's times where we've got to say no. And we will be quick to do that if we think the rhythm isn't right in any way, shape, or form. But when it's right, it's an incredibly lucrative opportunity. And we're happy to explore both the success stories that we have and the failures that we have, because no one's perfect. And there's circumstances that we've gotten into that have been painful learning experiences for us. But I think you'll find our team to be pretty darn open, and so you know who does what. Jen and Cliff run the sales entity for IGS. So whether you're an existing location and you've already got gaming and you want to figure out how to grow your footprint, or you found some real estate and you don't know whether it's the right real estate or the wrong real estate, or you're already committed, you want to do this, and you just need shepherding to get through the process of getting through the Illinois Gaming Board and getting certified to be in this space, these are the two that you're going to work with, and their team. Lisa being another member of that team, sorry, I didn't mean to miss you in that equation. Caitlin runs our marketing division. So when it comes to being a part of the IGS family, she's an absolutely critical person. When you're new, what we want to do is everything possible to build that core customer base. It's a 6-month effort up front. Make sure that we've done everything we can to get your name out, let people know that are gamers, that you can come play at our location, and we've got a setup that's going to be very accommodating to you. And then when you're in the steady state, the 12 months to eternity, you always want to move the needle. We always want to figure out how to do more and actually drive the revenue in a positive fashion. And we're able to do that pretty effectively. Their team is incredibly creative. We've done everything from coupons to free play scratch-offs to Facebook page management. I mean, there's almost no limit to what we'll do from a marketing standpoint to drive success. And the reality in this business is the TO that you choose to work with, terminal operator, you'll hear that acronym quite a bit. We're your partner. It's the two of us, and then the state and the municipality. And that's how the revenue gets split. That's who we have to work with. So we're going to be incredibly reliant on each other. In an upfront fashion, we're writing a check for several $100,000 to bring equipment to your location. That's our commitment. On your end, you're giving up that precious table or two or three, whatever it is that we collectively decide is necessary to create the right game room for you. So there's real risk on everyone's behalf. We all come to the table and we put up together, and we're motivated together to drive success. What's unique about IGS, and this is the last little tidbit I'll throw out, and then I suggest we break up into all the individual conversations we can have. There's a lot of people in this business in Illinois. There's a lot of terminal operators. Aside from the fact that we're number one from a revenue standpoint, there's another thing that makes us very unique, and it's that we're not just a one-trick pony. We are not Illinois only. We do this in Oregon, we do this in West Virginia. We've been in distributive gaming for 25 years. It's a little different in every state. In Oregon, it's the lottery that provides the terminal operator service. It's different here in Illinois. So in Oregon, we actually own restaurants. We're you. So we know this business from a lot of different angles, from a lot of different lenses, and we're big believers that that makes a huge difference in our ability to understand what it is that you go through on a daily basis, the decisions that you have to make. We're able to support them in a very different way than the average TO. So you've got a huge representation of our management team here today. It's a small audience, which I actually think is a huge advantage. Take advantage of that and grab anybody here, talk to us about what it is that we think drives success. To us, there's a very specific formula. It's just a matter of figuring out how to adapt that to your identity. And obviously, we count on the support of the IRA, SAM specifically, to make sure that Illinois, or Chicago does the right thing and allows VGTs to come into this marketplace. It's something that we've been chasing for a long time, and we're optimistic that it's right around the corner. So it's good timing. For everybody here, I think the benefit is to get ahead of that curve. If and when that green light happens, hopefully sooner than later, it's going to be a mad rush to that initial starting point. The sooner you can get yourselves tied in, the sooner you can get every box checked and make sure that you're ready, the better. And even if you decide ultimately that you don't want to hit the go button, I'd recommend that if you're even halfway serious about it, you make that commitment and take the first strides to make sure that you're ready. You can always pull back at day's end. So with that said, I think let's have at it. We've got a couple hours together here. It's nice and intimate, so grab anyone on the team that you want to talk to. You've got Eric and the advantage of somebody that's already had to make that decision of who he wants to work with. I think that's a reasonable sounding board. But
just add real quick. I've done my due diligence. I got involved just by I'm always looking at new sources of revenue, everything, especially with all the taxes we're getting, and we're all busy making a ton of money, I guess, but we all know the reality of getting nickel and dime. And it's really exactly what I looked at is when I interview someone, you guys probably know me, not to tell me a secret because I'm gonna fucking tell everyone. and I'm pretty straight and honest with everything. I try to live on the right side of the road, the left side of the road, whatever is the correct side. And what I would ask when I interviewed all the different places was, hey, how much money can I make on the side with this, with the cut here? I would ask like shady fucking questions. The only group that didn't give me a shady answer. And right there, you could just tell. That was the only group. That's why I signed so quickly. As you said, you can always pull back, but the biggest thing that I see as the advantage is everything's going in a way where the margins are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. This is something that you have complete control over. I think a lot of people, the negatives can only be what kind of crowd are we going to get? What kind of, I'm trying to think of, is it going to ruin my brand? It's up to you how you want to brand it. And two, you still allow the people that you want coming in the door. That's the biggest thing. I might not be the $120,000 customer. I probably won't be because I won't allow everyone in here. I'm not going to be 24 hours. I'm not going to allow everyone in here. It's a matter of who I want to allow and the people that actually are using these machines. Look around at us. What I look at it as, and it might not be the best thing, is that I'm always going to throw $20 in. It's my experience is more fun. So I think that's another big thing to look at. And ultimately, as we look at new sources of revenue, I think it's really important for some of the operators that are smaller. I have a couple buddies that legitimately mom and pop places, which I think we're all on the same team. I think that's the biggest thing that sometimes we're going to resonate. Will it benefit me as a bigger operator as much as someone across the street that has one place? Definitely not, but to me, it's cool as shit to get behind something that's going to keep people in business. Legitimately, my buddies in Crystal Lake, this has kept them in business. Kept them in business. Our favorite places, I know a lot of you guys, are corner bars to go drink at. this is going to keep them in business. So not getting behind something like that to me is just ridiculous. So I think that's the biggest thing we have to realize. I mean, some of these operators out there, when they're making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, that's doubling their income. I mean, it's nuts. And it's allowing people to have a little bit more fun. I mean, they're going to do it somewhere, right? It's not like, and once again, I think the biggest thing to reiterate is you're still controlling your place. Your controls are still on it. You can still allow anyone you want in. It's not just a free for all. So, as I said, the biggest thing I can say without hesitation to end with is that if you guys are going to do it, you guys know me. I'm not going to just bullshit someone. This is the only company you should use if you guys are going to do it. I mean, unless there's one I haven't interviewed, I interviewed most of them. There's only, I mean, I took the top 10, I think, but whatever. And then number 2, I think it's just something, if you guys do have something negative about it, I would definitely, I wouldn't hear it, because can't really think of too many negativities other than the branding aspect, which you're in control of, and who you're letting in, you're in control. So.
Yeah, I mean, and I think to that point, thank you. You know, some of the prouder moments for us are the locations that we are able to keep the doors open. I don't want to call anybody out and name names, but we have customers that have franchises that literally would have shut their doors before they got into the VGT business. We're proud of that. I mean, that's the type of stuff that keeps us excited, that keeps us enthused, that keeps us charging for it and finding new ways to innovate in this space. And the state of Illinois does not make it easy. I mean, there's a set of rules that we have to live within that are very strict. So we walk within those lines. We make sure that we don't do anything that allows you to be at risk. But where we're proud is when we understand what it is that we've done to be additive to your bottom line. That's huge, and that's what makes our heart beat. So let's figure out how to do that together. Take advantage, grab anybody in the team. Eric, thank you so much for the words, and let's have fun together for a couple hours.
Any questions before we?
Throw it out. Yeah.
So I know that they just passed legislation which will allow for casinos in Chicago. Is that going to be problematic for allowing VGTs in bars and restaurants if there's going to be an actual casino downtown?
It's a great question. I welcome anyone on my team to help support me in this response. So the bottom line is the gamers are different between a casino goer and a distributed gamer. Casino outings, that's an event. That's date night. That's a destination. A distributed gamer, the typical player, is looking for convenience. They're looking for something that's in the normal path of their day-to-day where they can spend some time doing what it is that they like to do from an entertainment standpoint. So to some degree, they're very different. The anecdote I like to use in West Virginia, where we have a pretty significant presence, one of our best locations is literally in the driveway of a casino. And there's a whole host of reasons why that occurs, but the bottom line is they're different players.
I understand they're different players. I guess I'm looking at it from the perspective of like the casino operator or whoever is going to be partners with the city of Chicago in that venture, not wanting or lobbying to not allow.
So the yes/no decision for video gaming, absolutely. I think you've got the nail struck squarely there. Sure, that lobby could be powerful enough to create a roadblock for the VGT business. Thankfully, I'm not neck deep in that world. I can only speak to it to a certain degree, but yeah, I think that's a realistic concern. It's one that we share. I think it's probably part and parcel to why we're where we are today and not already greenlit like the rest of the world.
Yeah, because I think with the commission splits in the VGT world, the municipality gets 5%.
Correct.
And in the casino deal, there's actually going to be 30% partners
Yep.
in that casino deal. So I just.
In Chicago pushed for a larger share. I mean, that was part of their resistance up front. So
What is the cheapest for you guys to love?
yeah, I mean, we and the retailer are equal. The state is now 33. The municipality is still 5. So, but Chicago
Basically,
wants a larger
the
cut.
state's so broke that they're going to push it through anyway.
And the state's going to be 34 next year.
Yeah, it's going to climb. I mean, we have one more hike coming as part of this process. But yeah, I mean, there's a reality that we've got a heck of a lobbying effort ahead of us. I don't know where the current regime lies. Hard to know in any given moment. Hard to understand what it is they're thinking, what the motivators are. But it's hard to not imagine that the casino is a strong voice in that equation. Yeah.
All right.
Do you think you're going to beat the casino to the finish line?
I'm certainly optimistic that that's the case. When we look at
The
the history
casino's
of
gonna take
years.
a
Years.
couple of years,
They will.
maybe longer.
Well, when I look at what it is that's happened since VGTs have been permissed in Illinois, we now contribute more to the state than the casino interest does. So we've surpassed them from a dollars and cents standpoint. We contribute more to the state's bottom line than they do. So I'm hopeful that that speaks loudly towards the power of what distributed gaming really represents. But again, at day's end, we're talking about highly politically charged stuff that, man, is a little bit beyond my power and influence at day's end.
I think that's the biggest thing. If everything you're reading right now, it's all these small cities are being saved by the gaming.
Yeah.
Right. It's look at today's. I thought the same thing. I didn't really ask, but common sense will tell you, right? It's people want it now. They're gonna say no. We'll wait for casinos to be built in what 10 years. It took me 2 years to build a fucking restaurant.
The shit show the casino's gonna be.
Yeah. Another GC guy.
Who let you in?
Yeah, it's a great question, though. I mean, I'm optimistic.
I bet the casino's 2-3 years away at the earliest.
I think that
Unless he's building it.
2023.
I got a guy.
What do you think your timeline? What's your horizon? If we just say an average, a casino's probably 2 to 3, maybe longer.
I mean, the good news for us
What
is...
based on where we are in the process with either the municipality, the state, whatever, what do you think the horizon is, or the timeline for you to be able to probably get approval to start moving forward?
I mean, again, I'd love to be able to answer that with a grand degree of specificity. That the bottom line is, I just don't know. The good news is, if they said yes, the revenue flow would start almost instantly. I mean, it is very little time. If they said yes, for us to bring games, get them turned up at approved locations, I mean, it's very quick. So if it's a dollars and cents equation that is actually being measured for that decision, we beat the casinos all day long. We'll be up, running, and contributing to the bottom line for years before they even open their doors. So from that standpoint, it's a very simple debate, and we beat them all day long.
I heard somebody say 12 months. I don't know if that's true, but let's say it does happen 12 months. When can they install?
15 months.
Yeah.
So if it's basically licensing with the gaming board is about a 3 to 4 month process currently. So once the city says, hey, yeah, we're ready to move on video gaming in Chicago, licenses will start going in, and you'll start seeing people licensed within 3 to 4 months with their video gaming machines turned on in that time frame.
Eric, how much you have invested in this from Tommy Financial at this point?
Into the gaming?
And they're going through the whole process of
Oh, I mean, I'm a hands-on guy, but I didn't fill out the applications. I had my secretary, so maybe a couple hours divided by $56,000 a year. I mean, nothing really. That's why I'm in queue. If something turns into I'm not liking it, you can always pull back out of it, which is the big thing.
So
I guess the main time that I did was interviewing who I wanted to go with. I was under the impression, I was wrong, but under the impression that the first one to get the applications in. Right, that's all and that's not the case. But at the same time, being ready for it and getting fingerprinted and doing all that, I'd rather just knock it out. I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? I say, okay, maybe I move to all food and I have all restaurants and I don't do it by that time. I mean, sorry, but if that was the case. But it makes zero sense not to help to educate other people with it.
what is that annual fee of the license?
$100. It's a $100 application fee and $100 after that per year. It's a $75 fee to get fingerprinted.
Yeah, fingerprints are
Financial
$25.
cost is nothing, even
Well,
if it's just not
fingerprinting too,
fingerprinted.
potentially, you already fingerprint. You
Yeah,
already have it in the,
Yeah,
it's
we-
good electronically.
You have to do it again. I argued this point. Apparently,
Surprisingly,
you guys
the
all
state
know Kelsey
agencies
down
don't talk.
downtown. Kelsey probably knows my fingerprints, but I still have to get them every day.
Yeah.
At this point,
In case they change or I don't
So
know.
it's minimal investment up front, relatively
So
speaking.
$250.
Yeah, I mean, and we literally will handhold you the whole way through that process. I mean, that's part of what we do is make sure we take that burden on, and it's less on you, it's more on us.
So when you were making a statement about the investment and so forth, I mean, what's the footprint? So if we just say that a machine takes up the footprint of how many seats?
So,
This machine is 140 square feet.
For each machine?
That's
total.
no, that's
Total.
For a total. So for now that the state's moving from 5 to 6 machines. So to be able to fit 6 machines and a pay-out device inside your location, roughly 140 square feet.
And
Is that a
chairs.
requirement that you have to
Nope,
have?
absolutely not. So
I
you
did
get
the
about
math on that, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm more of a numbers guy. It's if it matches your branding or you can fit it in your branding.
Sure.
There's no fucking way, unless you're Tal maybe, or a
Right.
big bottle service place, that per square foot that you're doing that kind of money. I can show you downstairs, I mapped it out downstairs, I don't even know if I'll do it here. I can show you exactly, and what they're saying is why would you, if you're gonna do the machines, why would you not do the maximum? It's also something we didn't bring up, the suburbs, I think are all 4 machines, they officially approved.
Five machines,
And they
yeah.
said this will be 6, yeah. So, I'll show you downstairs how much of the footprint it is, and why would you do 2 and not 6?
We
Well,
also
if you know,
have
so
the
for
liners.
example, if you know your chair, right?
Yeah.
And your concept is, if I know my chair does $22,739,000 a year,
Yeah,
right? And there's 4 there, and there's 4 there, and I add that up. That generation, let's just call it $200,000, and in that footprint, he's saying that you're gonna do 120, I got an $80,000 differential.
I did the math on it. We'll go downstairs and there's no chance that it will be.
Those are
Because
things
you
you
can,
gotta
what
look
you
at.
have to base it off of is not only the volume that you have in your place versus you have $20 in your pocket and you're not a gambler if you're gonna put it in. The higher your volume is, you have to do I'll show you what space it takes up.
Those seats are still people dreaming as well.
Correct.
So not only are they dreaming, but
Which
gambling.
I didn't even factor in. I actually didn't factor that in at all because I don't know
I
how.
mean, you know, they have the equation,
Yeah.
right? So if they're saying that the footprint of 140
Yeah.
square feet is $120,000.
I don't trust their numbers though. I just did what. Because everything,
That's an
everything
average.
you can go on the state website and see what everyone does. I took the lowest ones, and then I walked into some of them. I mean, you literally have to be. You can tell. You can walk into a place and see, and then also the other side of it, maybe they don't want to say is the marketing piece of they take 50% of marketing for everything, and that can help with menus with everything. It's a huge number. So 50% of anything you guys have your name on, correct? With no limit, which is it's another big piece for me would be worth it alone. But I mean, if you go into these places, look at the state, look at what their revenue they're bringing in. I mean, the website is whatever you can get from the website. You can go in there and see which ones do well or not, the ones that care. So the ones that have any kind of advertising out front or anything. You
You
can watch
raise
the
a good
numbers.
point. It's a real business decision. You gotta understand what you're giving up and what the
If you're
potential
not really
placement
good,
value is.
it should be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other questions?
Good dialogue, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
I mean, listen, take advantage. Let's sit and chat